Hey guys, welcome to Face to Face Gaming Podcast, episode number 20. Today is April 27th, 2014, and it's going to come out on Friday, May 2nd? Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
That's the right month. Cool. Anyway, so what you been playing?
This is a simple question to answer, I believe, for all of us. I think it's going to probably be the entirety of this podcast, in fact.
Actually, that was kind of the point.
Yeah, no. I've been playing Dark Souls 2.
I've been playing Dark Souls 2 with a little cut-in of a mobile game called Wayward Souls, which is a really nice break from Dark Souls 2 because it's basically Dark Souls for mobile. So play that game too. But Dark Souls 2, mostly.
I've also been playing Dark Souls for about 2 hours.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Oh, shit. So,
This is going to be spoilers. I don't care. Just run with it. We are one mind. We are going to combine our efforts as...
Now that I've had a little bit of chance to talk off camera, we've all been going in very different directions too.
Yeah, no, that's one of the exciting things about Dark Souls 2 is just how open it is from the get-go, and how it's like, okay, I'm gonna progress down this track, and I want to break from that and go completely in a different direction and find different items and like talk to different NPCs in a different order, and it just opens things up.
Yeah. I guess first thing to start with is, what did you roll?
I rolled deprived.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, bolder man than I, for sure.
I am hardcore.
Yeah, and how have you found the deprived, Thompson?
I was pretty naked. Yeah.
Loincloth?
Yeah. But, I mean, like I said, I'm only 2 hours in, so I can't really say too much.
Still using a shield and an axe?
Not even a shield.
Oh, they don't even give you a shield this time?
No. They give you your fists and the clothes that you walked in. So, like, you've got something, which is opposed to the regular deprived from the first Dark Souls, where you literally have nothing.
You started with a club and a shield.
You had a club and a shield, yes.
But no clothes.
But I mean, yeah, you were completely naked. Yeah. Whereas in this one, you actually have the, like, wanderer's clothes or something?
Yeah, or imported, or...
Yeah,
I don't remember. Rags, basically.
Yeah, they do very little.
Yeah. I wonder if everybody starts with those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you start with it, but if you choose...
Well, no, that exact set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you choose a better class, well, at least from what I can tell.
A regular class.
A normal, then you get the other stuff.
I recall I rolled a swordsman, and I believe I started with the same setup, like armor-wise. Admittedly, I started with a falchion and a short sword.
Yep.
Or, sorry, a scimitar and a short sword. Both upgraded to +1 already, which was nice.
Yeah, which changes things.
Yeah.
That's pretty alright.
Yeah. So I've... What path are you going down? I mean, it's really early to tell, but are you going...
Well, that's the thing.
Do you plan on strength, dex, for...
Probably dex.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not really sure which way I want to go, because, I mean, with Deprived, everything is 6, right?
You started
soul level 1 with everything across the board 6. So, I mean, I am a blank canvas. I don't know where I'm going to go, but...
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
One thing that will come up is Dark Souls 2 has, to a limited degree, the ability to respec your character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not unlimited times,
nice.
but...
No, like, I found one of the items that lets you do it.
Okay.
Right? And Andrew tried it out the other day, my roommate, who's also playing Dark Souls 2 concurrently. And he tried it, and it gives you back... all those level points to spend. It doesn't give you the souls, and you have to spend all the level points before you leave that screen.
Okay.
So it basically just undoes your level choices and then lets you redistribute them.
Okay. That's pretty alright, though.
Well, yeah, for sure. Especially given like how completely different your characters can be.
Oh, yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt. No. So if you do that, say you got something into intelligence and you have no desire to do any spells, can you, like, just take those points out and put them somewhere else?
As long as you have this item, yeah.
Well, does it revert you back to 66666 across the board?
It would, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't actually revert you back to your starting class.
Well, no, it does. It does.
Okay.
It takes you back to the base of what you began as.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
And then you build all your slot levels.
You're not getting an extra, 7 points or whatever out of this.
No. Okay, yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Like, I just want to hit myself over the head and make me as dumb as possible, but make me really strong.
Oh, man.
Actually, what's really funny is, if you do that, certain NPCs won't talk to you.
Really?
Specifically, there's at least one magic dealer in No Man's Wharf who won't actually talk to you if you aren't sufficiently versed in in the magical arts.
So if you're dumb, he won't talk to you.
Actually, I think there's another one too. I just ran into him in the Hunter's Grove.
Oh, the guy who wants the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
he
assuming.
didn't like me either. I don't know if there's some other taint you need to pick up.
I don't know about that either. That's half the fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, swordsman class. I'm rolling basically almost pure dex build. I just hit 40 dex earlier last night.
That's a ton.
Yeah, I assume that's the soft cap again. I'm guessing just based on previous.
Precedent, yeah.
So like first game,
Yeah.
wants you to go with a 40.
Yeah, well, the soft cap was 40 for almost everything in Dark Souls 1.
Okay.
So for now, until I'm willing to look further into the theory crafting behind it online, I'm going to assume that's where it is now.
Okay.
Yeah. Note at this point, we have a light agreement to avoid looking online as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's so much fun to just get into that and be like, oh, did you find this? What? What? You could do that? And I mean, if you go online, it's like, oh, what are the mechanics behind that? How does that factor into this? Is this actually a worthwhile path? It really, I don't know, undermines a lot of the discovery, which I think is really the part of Dark Souls I like the most.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, as much as I do enjoy the combat systems and the narrative and everything else that is part of the package, just the attempt to decipher what the hell FromSoft is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, what gift did you guys pick?
Oh crap! Not the
You picked a petrified object?
petrified something.
Yeah, right. That's
Is
what
that
it
like the useless pendant?
No.
No? What does it do?
You've been through the tutorial area
Yes.
at least? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the nest?
Yes.
Did you stand in the nest?
Of course I did. And it's, what's the bird's name?
It's Snuggly.
Snuggly? Is that it?
That was
Yeah.
the one in Dark Souls. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's from from
and
Demon Souls. Yeah, it's the
I
same
think
character.
It may have gone so far back as like the Kingsfield or something, but I've never
This
really.
time I think there's two crows. There's two voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soft and shiny.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you can drop it in there, and there's basically three. I think I found 3 different levels worth of things you can drop in there, like smooth and shiny
okay.
pebbles or something like that. You can drop those in there.
I'm curious if what you get from dropping those is from a randomized table or if it's progression or what.
I think it's based upon the value of the item relative to what
Right.
they want, so that's why it's kind of a tiered system.
Right.
Because I think the petrified something is like the highest. It has I got a Titanite slab out of it, let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, when I was watching Andrew do that, he didn't get a Titanite slab. He got something else. I don't remember what it was. But, yeah, so it must be drawn from a pool based on tier. Yeah, because I had 15 or so, like, small, shiny, soft things, right? And I put them all in sequence and got a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some upgrading stuff and some effigies and whatever.
Effigies, kind of important. I haven't really found a place to find them.
Yeah. Another interesting change over Dark Souls 1 is how repeated deaths lower your maximum health, right, to a minimum of 50%.
Yeah.
And you have to use these effigies, which are in pretty short supply.
Yeah.
They're not...
I've literally ran out if I've been doing poorly on boss fights.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
to the point where I cannot summon more help.
Yeah, which is daunting, but I like the balance of it. It's makes the world feel suitably oppressive.
Yeah, it really does.
So, as someone who isn't far enough, there are no there is
Humanity does not exist.
Oh, okay.
The item humanity does not exist, although humanity might not exist either. I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case, then can you just be invaded at any given time?
I'm not sure yet. Some stuff happens when you're still hollow.
Okay.
If I'm doing my PvP Covenant stuff, I don't need to be human to do that.
Yeah, me
which
neither.
surprised me. Because it's not the way it used to be.
No.
Yeah.
You do need to be human to summon people,
Okay.
and I think you need to be human to be summoned.
I was able to drop a white soapstone while hollow.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm
I
wrong
wasn't
then.
able to get summoned, but it was also like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That being said, I was also invaded by an NPC while hollow.
I found that too.
Yeah, so I'm
Like a Black Phantom.
Oh, okay.
a red phantom in this case for me, but
Yeah.
he was red, might be a Black Phantom, because...
Yeah, they change the terminology every game, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm hypothetically guessing you can get invaded at any time.
Okay.
I haven't actually been invaded outside of strict PvP yet, though.
Yeah, well, there's one locationally based PvP. That's the Covenant that I'm in.
There's two, because I'm in a different one.
One that I've found. And that's like the Forest Hunters in Dark Souls, the first. And that, when I was watching, when I played through that area...
which is to say, you have a ring that gets you summoned into...
Yeah. Except it's the opposite. They get summoned into your world.
Oh.
Right? And they don't need to be human for that to happen, which is interesting. If they're in that area, and there's somebody who's in this covenant, then they will get pulled into that person's world.
Interesting.
Which, double interesting, that person has ways to make their world less hospitable to visitors.
In fact, which is downright hostile.
Pretty fun. So you can, like, set it up and then lure them into your den.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So the people that you're pulling in, they are of your covenant?
No, they would just be people going through that area.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's similar to, like, Gravelord?
Well, Gravelord wasn't really based on any one location. It's just you could drop your sign in a location.
Yeah.
And they could take the time to go find you, whereas this is actually a specific location built entirely around the Covenant for PvP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an arena.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it's not like an arena. It's just a series of problems.
Yeah, well, I'm talking the concept of arena, not literally an arena.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
I was really excited when I came across it last night, and I, just proceeded to hang out, wait for people to try and invade my turf, and then lay them down.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to hear your thoughts on that. How, actually, from a purely mechanical standpoint, how is the summoning and how has the PvP, the online connectivity been for you?
The first times I tried it, I was just trying to summon phantoms, and it wasn't very good. The hit rate was really, really low. And my hit rate's been pretty shifty with calling people into my world, but hanging out in this PvP area, it's pretty regular. It's nice. I'll just hang out, I'll run around, and do my maintenance stuff, check on all my little rat buddies, and then it'll be like, someone's getting called into your world, and then it happens, right? And then I had one like, could not succeed in summoning, out of probably 13, 14 attempts.
Okay.
Which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And it's nice playing it this close to release, too, because every area has lots of people.
Yeah.
Which is, pretty cool.
So in that case, how's the latency?
It's still there.
Yeah.
I mean, with an action game, it's always going to be a problem.
Of
With
course.
a frame, a game that relies so heavily on minute frame shifts between characters, especially.
Yeah, it's at its most distressing when you roll and dodge, they finish their swing, and there's 3 meters between you, and you get hit.
I've had that happen multiple times.
Yeah. No, understood.
Yeah. So do we want to give the Covenant names away? I mean, you already mentioned the main theme for yours.
Well, maybe a little bit, but whatever.
Let's do it. Let's just call this a spoiler cast.
Sure, done. All the better.
Tell us about your covenant.
Well, you're in the Rat Covenant.
Yeah. I basically have this horrible rat den where there's all these rats live in the walls, and when you fight through the first time, you deal with it, right? And it's not particularly inhospitable. But when you get to the end of it, you have the option to join the Covenant, and then you're given some more tools by which to defend this place.
Okay.
And none of the NPCs attack you at that point. They're all your friends.
Yeah.
And so you just wait for somebody to come into your burrow, and it's kind of sweet.
Okay.
And I have a kind of awful, like, servant of the rat sort of look going on. I'm pretty happy with it.
So you have to be there in order to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't make a lot from it. It's kind of a novelty. I mean, I leveled it up once by donating 10 of whatever token item, right? And the reward wasn't great, but it's kind of cool just the same.
Yep.
Mine operates on a similar principle, but is actually not location specific. Well, it is location specific in a weird way. I joined the Bell Keepers, which is I don't know where yours is, but mine's actually located in Lost Bastille.
Okay,
technically,
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, well, there you go. It's located from a little secret area underneath one of the bonfire. Anyway, it was a weird place to find because I walked in and there was a little midget dwarf guy. who didn't aggro me, which was nice, because midgets can be scary. And
Especially when they aggro you.
yeah, and he's this weird construct apparently created by a princess to protect the bell towers.
This sounds like Resident Evil 4.
I don't know. But basically what joining this covenant does, the Covenant of the Bell Keepers, is it gives you a ring that in 2 specific locations, anytime anybody in any form, in any covenant, including yours, is in the bell towers, you have a chance to be summoned there in order to defend them. The tower I have access to right now is basically, it was designed for PvP. It's blatantly obvious because it's 3 floors and a roof up a ladder, all of which have basically holes in the floor, just, decay and decrepitude. Has, worn away. But what that mechanically allows you to do is drop down from each level, potentially behind guys or on top of guys.
Nice.
Cool.
And the way the Covenant actually works is, while wearing this ring, while you're anywhere in the world, much like the Forest Hunters from the original Dark Souls, you can be summoned to the towers in order to defend them.
Okay.
However, even if you yourself are in the tower and part of the Covenant, people of the Covenant can invade you.
Okay.
Jeez.
So they're very zealous defenders?
Yes. There's actually, to take it back to Dark Souls 1, the Forest Hunter Guardians, the NPC human kind of guys in the Forest Hunter area, would not aggro you were you part of the Covenant. Whereas the defenders of the tower, more phantom little midget guys, will actually aggro you no matter what, even if you're in the Covenant. So it's really weird to actually... that's handy as hell when you're invading somebody because you have little friendly helpers, literally little friendlies. Anyway, and they hit like trucks. They take like half my health off. It's scary.
Sweet.
But you mentioned the connectivity. Basically, I mentioned the connectivity and then you elaborated upon it. I'm going to do so again.
Go on.
Yeah, I was doing that for probably 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours last night and this morning, and it literally popped. I barely had time to load back into my world before I got summoned into another one.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So, it was cycling like every 15 seconds, probably less.
Cool.
And what's really fun is you can actually have... a lot of human or people in that world have basically dropped white soapstone signs in order to be summoned into other players' games to help fight off the invaders.
Yeah.
But the invaders also have a chance. You can have 2 invaders in the same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've had these kind of nuts. Yeah, these nuts 4v4 or 2-on-2 fights.
Yeah, cool. That's new.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And, they're trying desperately to defend the human character who is the only one that really matters. Whereas, one guy's dropping through the floor to get around behind him, back up the stairs, and the other guy's on top throwing lightning bolts at him. It's been fantastic fun.
That's cool. That sounds like a really, really fun environment.
And difficult, but...
Oh, crazy. It's, if you do take part in this, I highly suggest equipping the cat ring.
For fall damage?
Yeah, because if you would normally take fall damage dropping through those holes, which is actually something you can use to your advantage. I always have the ring equipped when I'm in there, but what you can actually do is kind of bait people. If you fall down a hole and just roll out of the way, they almost instinctively have to follow you, and if they're not using the ring, they immediately take,
a good chunk of damage.
Yeah, a fair bit of fall damage.
Which actually reminds me, like, when I started playing today, like I said, I've only got a couple hours in, but I was in the starting area and Afina's watching some HGTV on this, actually, because I found out saves don't carry over.
They don't have cloud saves?
Well, not that I found out. I probably don't have it set up because I was like, cloud saves. But anyway, so I'm in that area, like the starting area, the town, whatever it's called. Doesn't matter.
Well, Majula? Like the actual hub? Rather than the first,
Yeah, the hub.
Yeah.
Forest of Giants?
Yeah, and there's that big hole in the middle, right? And it's just like blood stains all over. And so like I'm clicking on a blood because I want to see what's happening. And then Athena will look up as the ghosts go do 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 do. And I'm like, and then I go into the shop and I was like, oh, cat ring.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
Totally.
I'm not going down that hole.
that's not sufficient to do it by itself. I was actually, hollow and had probably taking 30% health reduction at that point.
Yeah.
Even
you
then,
won't survive.
still killed me.
Yeah, you have to have like a full health bar.
Yeah, because that
with,
first drop left me with a sliver.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's nasty.
That being said, worth it to go down there. At least for the first 2 items, which are all you can get off the start.
Yeah, and that's where you get to my rat home. So
Really?
come on down, and I'll show you a good time.
I will definitely do
I
that.
definitely need to get down there eventually now because I don't know how to get to the bottom floor yet. Don't tell me. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing that I'm curious about is the the link between your games and mine. Like, as friends on Steam, is there a connection there?
Now, so far, you get random signs from random people who are just in the same area. There is one item that I haven't looked at. I think it's called the engraved ring.
It's the named ring.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you get to inscribe it with the name of a god, and that increases the likelihood of you being summoned or
it increases the
interacting.
likelihood of interacting with players who share the same god.
Yeah, and I haven't picked it up. I'm curious if you pick a god or you write a god, and it's like a seed that you put in,
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
key that you're linking with.
I hadn't thought about that. I honestly assumed it was you would it had somehow to do with covenants, in that it would somehow link you closer to that covenant.
But one thing with the covenants is they don't necessarily mention God.
No, I mean mine mentions a princess, which is the highest form of I don't know, hierarchy involved.
Yeah,
There's a king. There's a
mine
king somewhere.
Mine is just a rat. I hang out with a rat. He's like, do this for me. I'm like, yes, my lord, master.
Is he a big rat?
He's like a regular sized big rat.
Okay.
It's not a huge rat.
So is
He's
he
big for a rat.
It's just like a dog.
Yeah.
like a subway car kind of thing?
No, not even. Not that
Do you
big.
know what I'm talking about when I say that?
The other rat?
No. I'm
Dark
talking.
Souls?
No, I don't remember that rat.
Sewers.
Yeah.
Optional boss.
Oh, okay. No, I don't remember that rat.
Spider shield.
Well, I'm talking about actual rats in New York City.
Oh, you
I see.
mean like the where their tails all get clumped up and they get the giant ball of rat?
Rat Kings.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm talking the ones that are like down in the subway and they're like this big.
They use them to clean the subway tunnels just
Yeah.
with their bodies.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But either way.
Actually, just to get this back to the start, I'm kind of curious as to, because just talking about it, we've progressed in entirely different directions.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So, just for myself, I ended up going tutorial, Majula, Forest of Giants, killed the Pursuer, ended up in Lost Bastille, couldn't beat Lost Bastille, doubled back, went into Hades Tower Flame, beat the Dragon Rider, went over to the other thing, beat the old Dragon Rider, which if anybody hasn't, if you have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen it. No, I
Okay.
know it's coming, but
Yeah, sorry, I kind of ruined that for
no,
you.
it's good. It's good.
Which is actually access to another covenant, which I can't join yet. Doubled back from that because it's a dead end out of that just to join the covenant, and then went down into No Man's Wharf, went through there, ended up calling the ship.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Followed the ship, which actually took me back into Lost Bastille. Did you call the ship?
I called the ship. I didn't go on the ship.
Oh,
My approach, where yours has been like,
yeah.
mine is like. I just keep popping out and going back and doing a little bit. I started with Heidi's Tower, played that for a little while. Went to the forest, went back to the tower. Then I went to the forest, was a good ways. Didn't get to the Pursuer. Went down the pit. Went beat the tower, and then went the other direction of the tower to the Huntsman's Grove or Copse. Yeah, Huntsman's Copse.
Okay, now I'm really curious because I didn't know there was another way into the Huntsman's past.
There is. Yeah, so I've dabbled, I've run around, and yeah, in addition to like the world facilitating different styles of play, the very game itself, it's like,
Fast travel.
oh yeah, that's nice. Initially, I was a little trepidatious about it because I like the way the original Dark Souls wound in on itself.
Yeah, where
This one still does that, but now I don't have to waste time just running, and it's
well, it wound. It basically, if the original Dark Souls was kind of at least until Anor Londo, was kind of a straight line with multiple offshoots that always brought back to the same place, back onto the line. This one is that, except they all kind of lead back to the bonfires instead of they all double back on themselves, but they all lead back to the bonfires rather than Firelink Shrine or something.
yeah, particular hub. But yeah, what I was meaning to say there was, I like how open it is for that, and I like, again, as it has been since Demon's Souls, how open it is for how you play and your character. Because you're running 2 swords, right? I tried that, had a horrible time, switched to a cleric, two-handing a mace, having an awesome time. Just got spells, so now it's like, keep my distance, throw some lightning spears, run in, and clobber.
Finish them off.
And my roommate Andrew has been playing Sorcerer from the beginning, and I think now he has a loadout of something like 85 different soul arrows, right?
Holy shit.
And that's how he plays. He summons 2 phantoms into his world to tank, and then he throws bolts at everything.
Nice.
And it's a different experience, right? Then like, okay, I'm next to him, I'm rolling left, and I'm hitting him, and I'm, you know, getting the timing. But I liked that those options are there. Right? It's like, I don't want to play that game. Play this game.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Especially if you can respec. If you find a particular weapon you really enjoy the animation set of, but you don't have the stats for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice too that the game lets you equip those things and play with them, just not effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I just did that. That's the reason I finally pumped my strength up to 15 rather than the original, 10, I guess I was at.
Yeah, right.
I had 6.
Yeah. Well,
For everything.
you have options.
I had a pointy stick.
Actually,
Very, very impressive.
what are you running? I actually, pure technical fact, encumbrance is 30%, not 25 now, and it gives you a nice actual value, so I don't actually have to use the bloody calculator every time.
Figure that out. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Where's the second encumbrance threshold?
If I had to, I don't know, because I'm trying to keep under 30.
Okay, because I've been playing around 50 and not finding any changes.
No fat rolls?
Right? No, I haven't had that yet. I did, however, get an armor drop from one of those turtle knights, which is like so heavy, and it has a minimum strength requirement. Like armor with a strength requirement, and I don't meet it. So I don't know what I can trust from the experience of wearing it, because I'm not, equipped for it.
Yeah, understood.
If I had to guess, probably
70, 80,
60?
60.
I'm just doubling 30 here, so I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, because I so far I've been like running around in medium armor, and haven't felt impeded, right? Which is kind of nice, because in Dark Souls, the first, it was a bit of a pain sometimes, and
totally.
suddenly you're like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, and that just slows down the game, right?
Yeah.
Sure, combat is different with heavy armor versus light armor, but if it takes you half an hour to walk from place to place, that doesn't make it more exciting.
With no
in any
ability
way.
to quickly switch between armor sets or take it off or anything,
Well, and at least everywhere is fast travel now.
Which I was kind of afraid that meant I never go back through areas, but no, actually I've been doubling back through a lot of areas.
Well, it's interesting, too, a difference between my and Andrew's experience, because I'm mostly soloing, running around, poking all the crannies, and he's sometimes summoning, like, 2 clearly proficient players who come in and clear everything out and, like, point all the treasure and what have you. I find that my retention of, like, geographical orientation has been stronger, I guess. It's stuck with me a lot more, and it's like, oh yeah, this place is a shortcut to this place and that. And he'll say, oh, I don't remember being there. I remember like blowing through there. And it's again, taking the game in whatever way you want. Right?
Well, that actually makes me think. I was planning on live streaming pretty much my entire playthrough.
Sweet.
And I think I still will, but I don't know if my playstyle suits that kind of thing. Because Andrew's definitely, because, it's just explosions and attacking and blood and everything.
There's a lot going on.
Whereas I'm like, what's behind this corner? What's over here? Am I going to look over this ledge? Oh, there is something over there.
Tentative exploration is an important part of it.
And considering the typical, the potential results of exploration in this game being either, massive reward or instant death. That could be interesting to watch.
There's a feedback loop there, regardless.
Yeah, it's like one way or another, it's either going to be like, or it's going to be and it could be, entertaining for both. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which rig is going to be more effective, this one or my tower. But
yeah, you are playing with a controller.
Oh fuck yeah!
Okay, good.
Hell yeah!
I don't know anybody who's ever played that with a keyboard.
I've heard it's easier now in Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 1 was a pain, and people have said, "Oh no, it's totally doable." But I don't know why.
Yeah, why would you?
The game is built around the 360 controller. Yeah. Every button is utilized in a normal play.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Although I will say that it took me a good hour, maybe hour and a half, to figure out to put items on your belt.
Oh yeah,
in the inventory screen, as opposed to like looking at the stuff you have and be like, okay, I can't hold down this button. I can't hold down this button. What? Yeah.
I didn't see it anywhere in the game, but the way by which you light torches is totally obscured.
Yeah. No.
You needed to point that out to me because I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I saw these sconces torches everywhere, and I was like, oh, those will probably all come on when I beat the boss or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
So what is the point of those? Is there a point?
There are enemies that respond to light in
Yeah.
different ways, right?
Okay.
And
there's a boss that responds to light in different ways.
Interesting.
Sweet. And there was one spot where I thought lighting a torch opened a door, but that wasn't the case. So far I haven't seen them ever as a trigger. I think they're just like comfort.
There's definitely at least one.
Okay.
It's tied into an NPC, a vendor.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. You'll find them.
Okay.
If not, I'll tell you later.
Okay, yeah, because I lit my torch and I'm like, oh, this is how you do it. I've got 5 minutes run.
Yeah.
And then it ran through back like the first area and lit everything because I'm like, these are things to do, so I'm going to go do that.
There are definitely advantages to using them in certain areas. There's, of course, that requires you to use your offhand for something other than a shield.
Didn't matter for me.
Weapon.
Shields here.
I have literally a dagger.
Yeah, actually, none of us are using shields right now.
Yeah. Oh, I can't equip one. I don't have enough strength.
I love it.
I'm flimsy, spaghetti arm.
Yeah, I played through the first Dark Souls as like a high strength character. I wanted the biggest weapons, the biggest armor. So strength and endurance were my pals, and had a shield the whole time. So the way I played the game.
Oh hi!
Hey.
Hi Brandon.
Hi Brandon.
You have a sub. You're not gonna say hi?
Hey. There you go.
Hi. You know that's totally going to be the screenshot.
Let's go. What do we want to pick up from?
High strength weapon.
Okay, so yeah. Playing the first Dark Souls, I played strength, endurance, so I could have heavy armor, big weapons, and played through the game with a big piece of metal in front of myself. And that's one way to learn what enemies do and when your windows are.
It's legitimately probably the easiest way.
Yeah. And I thought about that, and I had a good time, and it was a fun game to play that way. And by the end of the game, I've got, literally a giant slab of metal and a massive hammer and, a tank towards somebody and
slam. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck ever hitting them. But
yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was good for PvE, not so much for PvP. But, so going into Dark Souls 2, I wanted a different experience. I wanted to run around a little more and play the dodging game, right? Yeah. And as a swordsman, my first attempt, I just couldn't do it because my damage output was so low. And as a cleric now, with a two-handed mace, I'm having a really good time. Because I'm in there, and it's like, okay, move, stick and move, crush. Yeah. Stick and move, crush. Retreat, lightning bolt. It's pretty fun.
Okay. You.
Me?
Yeah.
What about me?
I want to know what you do.
What do you do?
Stick and move, and then stick and stick and stick. Basically, actually, have you upgraded your weapon at all yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm at a +10 scimitar.
Oh boy, it's not that high yet.
And I've unfortunately kind of squandered a few shards here and there, so I've only got a +4 rapier and a +4 parrying dagger as my possible offhands, which is really fun, because trying to use either of those to parry is very tight window.
I have had no success with parrying.
So far.
I started with the swordsman, and I said, that's what you do as a swordsman. You parry, and you stick them.
Parry, riposte,
right? But couldn't nail it.
I've actually gone back into areas with lower enemies who aren't going to, two-shot me and practiced.
Okay, yeah. Is the timing still the same? You parry, like, right as they're hitting you?
It's actually probably a smaller window. Yeah, because I think, just by the feel of it, they thought that parries, ripostes, and backstabs probably got overused in the original Dark Souls, and they modified it such that...
lightning Uchigatana in the back over and over again.
Yeah. Because... I mean, the backstab, for example, is a two-piece. Well, not a two. You can get damage during the backstab. You actually have there's damage reduction of some sort, in fact, but you still can get hit. Whereas the parry is actually a two-step process now, where you actually parry, then you actually have to wait for a timing window where they fall on their ass, and then your character model actually kind of, if you're close enough, perches over them, raises their main hand weapon, and at that point you can actually go down and stab.
Man, less of a riposte, more of a coup de grace.
Very much so, actually. But the thing is, if it means it's much less useful if you're fighting multiple enemies, and if you screw the timing up, all you do is get a normal, light swing in, and then they're back up. So.
It's a lot more of a skill shot. Like, it's difficult.
Yeah, you can use it to great effect against single PvE enemies, and I've had very limited success in PvP. Just because the animations plus the latency is such that its window is really small.
Yeah. Dual wielding really seems like a finesse game.
Yeah.
Like, pro tuning and having like, okay, I've got a horizontal slash and a twirling thing on this one, and this one's all pokes. Yeah. So playing them back and forth.
Basically it's, for PvE at least, it's how many swings can I get in before I need to roll backwards?
No, yeah.
It's just, okay, this enemy, I know I can do 2 R1s and 1 L1, and then I need to get the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, I've got a 3-hit combo, but that leaves me with no roll. So 2 hits, roll dodge. Roll in, okay, where's their health bar? Hit, hope they're dead. Yeah. They're not. Shoot.
Guess I'm getting smacked.
Yeah. And I would like a shield. I would really like a shield.
Yeah, shields are very good things.
Yes.
And they will get you through.
Yeah.
Turtling is much less effective in PvP now, though.
Oh, really?
How's that?
Because... Well, one, the very, very first ogre troll thing?
It's a terrible thing. I hate that fight.
Yeah. Have you fought it? Did you fight him?
Oh, yeah, I got squished.
Did you fight him naked?
Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. You would. It's definitely a fight that's easier if you just have zero encumbrance and dodge as much as possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I bring that up, though, is because for me... at least on my first playthrough, he dropped the Stonebite ring, I believe it's called, which is actually a ring that increases the amount of poise damage you do.
Right, yeah, saw that.
Which is very useful if you're perhaps using light weapons like scimitars and rapiers, because you can actually break poise a lot easier.
That changes things again.
Yeah,
big time.
And likewise, even without that equipped, the shield bash is just a lot more effective.
Okay.
It's got a longer kind of wind up, but it feels like it hits harder. It breaks poise in the shield blocks more easily.
Okay.
Which means that a lot of guys in PvP are still just turtling. I mean, even if a lot of the shields don't have, 100% physical resist, they'll still take, 30 damage or whatever if I'm taking a swing at them. Whereas,
they call that chip damage.
Yeah, basically. But one good shield bash and you're staggered for probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a second, a full second.
Wow.
At which point you can just beat the crap out of them.
Wham, wham. See, I have a ton of problem with turtlers because I got rat bros and they just swarm. Bolts. I really like the behavior of the rats. They're very opportunistic, and it's like they're kind of slow and they toddle towards you. But if you leave yourself open, it's and then I'm there and I throw lightning bolts at you.
I really need to find a way down to the find that guy.
It's super fun. I also just again to indulge myself have the miracle that lets you send like a bolt of force forward.
Force?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Which like knocks people down. Yeah. And so whenever my rats close in, I knock them down and they get eaten.
Oh, jeez.
It's really great.
Just thematically, I love that.
Yeah, it's super
visual.
Cool.
Just like, whoosh.
Yeah, I've got a very oddly shaped kind of inhuman helmet right now, which I think adds to it all.
Nice.
You know, they come into this den and here's this grody looking horrible man approaching and they're like, okay, whatever. And they're like, oh, my ankles, ah.
It's like some sort of horror movie.
Yeah. The only time that I had a failed attempt at defending my rat burrow was when somebody just refused to leave the entrance point where they were.
Yeah.
So they didn't put themselves in the areas where the rats are. They didn't put themselves where the traps were. And it's in a very narrow tunnel. And I can't fight in a very narrow tunnel. And they had a big shield and a big sword. And if you got a tunnel that ends in a shield, you're going to have a hard time getting through that, right?
Yeah. But that shield breaking technique should
assuming
balance that?
you can get in there, because a lot of guys will just wait, then just a lot of guys swing for the fences. They just waste their entire stamina bar, which, if you're not timing it properly, means you'll dodge 2 and then get smacked in the face with the 3rd, which kind of ruins the entire thing.
It's interesting how fundamentally the game depends on being stuck in animations. Like, you've got a lot of games coming out of the East that have like dodge cancels and all this really technical stuff, but Dark Souls doesn't let you do that. It's like, if you start a swing, you're going to carry through and suffer all of the consequences of that. Yeah. Right? Which is, I mean, it's tactical and it's action based in its own way. It's just different.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I haven't played Monster Hunter. I understand it's the same, where there's no, it's purely frame animation based. I do kind of find that with actually it's the starting area for the Bell Keepers Covenant is the same thing, where it's actually they actually the entrance is a short bridge with no side rails, and then you enter the tower itself. Yeah. So a lot of guys are just turtling out there, which is really interesting because you're fighting on something maybe double the width of your feet. Yeah. So you can't roll, you can't dodge.
I'm gonna force push you off of that bridge.
Yeah. Actually, that'd be really useful. That'd be a good place for that.
That's the thing that I wanted Miracles for, was just pushing people around. The regular emit force, the like centered on you AoE one, it seems really weak. Like it kind of makes them take a step back. Yeah. Which doesn't seem very good. I don't know if it'll scale as my faith increases.
Which it might.
In a statistical or just gamer sense. Yeah. It's like, I believe in this miracle.
But that push of force will actually... Nice. Yeah. So is that like a bolt that comes out, or
it's like a tremor. It's like,
okay.
Shockwave.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
And it does a bit of damage when it hits too, which is nice.
Please tell me that picked up on the mic.
We'll find out. I don't know, Thompson. We've been kind of gushing about this. I mean, you're 2 hours in, so
yeah, I mean, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, I don't have much to say. Thus, due to there only being 2 hours, but from what I can tell, I feel I'm trying to mash attack buttons whenever I'm going anywhere, just out of fanaticism. Like, I'm just like, I need to kill this guy. He's in front of me. But I mean, these are super weak, early dudes.
Actually, they can still bug you up.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course they can. Especially if I don't have a shield and I've got this little tiny dagger that I'm two-handing. But I found that I don't know. It seems like it almost queues up attacks as you mash. I don't know. Maybe it's just my experience.
Yeah, I think the window of input begins before the previous attack finishes. Yeah. Right? So if it's like attack, you swing, and then if you attack now, it'll automatically chain the second attack. Yeah.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense, just because when you're dual wielding, you're kind of using both fairly in weird combinations, like R1, L1, R1, 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 L1. Yeah. And now that you mention it, I think I've noticed that as well. You've had limited experience with this. You've had a bit more, but how have you found the enemy AI patterns and behavior so far? I think it's been greatly improved upon.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really ever had a problem with it. They go around, they do their thing. And like I was saying, I really like the rats in particular. But then they are my brothers. Yeah, I mean, they seem to act pretty reasonably, and they will team up on you. Yeah. Pretty hard.
Actually, many, if not most fights are probably going to be not 1v1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the game should be.
Well,
It's a luxury when you can isolate them.
just based on the. You've gone past at least you're into the ballista area for the Forest of Giants. Yeah, so you fought
yes.
like the spear guys and the halberd
Oh,
guys.
yeah. The standard.
Yeah, have you found? I honestly, I think those guys are probably a lot more dangerous than they used to be because the animation kind of tells are much more subtle. And
Yeah, I remember in the first Dark Souls, coming up against guys with shield and spear, they were the guys you could train your parries on.
yeah,
Right? Because they're like,
yeah, yeah,
Right.
massive telegraph.
and like I said, I have not been able to pull off one parry at all, ever.
Yeah.
And I've tried on all the starting enemies and just had a bad time of it.
okay.
Well, and when I tried, I didn't even have Estus flask, so it's like,
Oh, that's another thing. Have you you've played with that system a bit more now? Do you
Yeah.
enjoy the kind of combination between Estus, the upgrades of Estus, and then the healing items?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that Estus is less common than it used to be, right? Because in Dark Souls 1, it's like, okay, I've got 15 Estus
At
flasks.
5, I have 10. At 15, I have 20.
Right? That's a lot of healing. Now, they're a little more limited, and you have to consume consumables, finite amount, to top that up.
Yeah.
As a cleric, I start with a healing spell, which is nice, right? Because it kind of extends my adventuring time by a little bit. But it's not a combat spell, right? Like you cannot, there is not time in any arena anywhere to cast that.
yeah,
So I like it so far. I think it works, and it just means that if somebody invades your world or you go and invade theirs, they don't have 20 extra lives.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if they want more than a few extra attempts, they have to start eating equivalent of souls, right?
Yeah, and that leaves them incredible. Actually, using items, Estus and the life gems makes you incredibly vulnerable in PvP.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a hell of a lot of distance in order to get that off fully.
Yeah, the life gems are a lot faster,
Yeah.
but again, costing you.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, sweet, I got 2,000 souls from killing him, but I spent however many on healing items.
Well, simultaneously, yeah. I mean, it costs you, but it's not like it used to be where if you popped an Estus and then got hit, you immediately healed for the amount the Estus gave you minus that hit. The fact is that the Estus builds gradually. The health you regain is a gradual or much slower now.
I noticed that with the life gem anyway.
Yeah, and you can die while healing. I've killed probably a dozen people.
Yeah, it's like you get your Estus down when you're at a sliver, and it starts to go up and you get hit and you're dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so it's not like that instant boost.
No.
Yeah, it will heal the whole way, regardless of like when you get hit, but if it goes below 0, you're dead.
Yeah.
So is Estus a fill? Like complete fill?
No, it's an amount.
Yeah.
And you
And
can
likewise,
level that amount up.
I'm at +2 right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, with six flasks.
Oh, you're ahead of me on that.
Yeah. Well,
I've got one. Yay.
That's all you need.
Yep,
Never get hit.
exactly.
I will. Yeah, you're in Majula though. Have you explored Majula fully?
I don't think.
Have you found the pigs?
No, I have not found the pigs. Please elaborate. What are the pigs?
There's nothing to say.
No. You will when you,
will
find the
find them and
pigs,
you
you
will
will
know.
know.
And you'll be like, what the hell are these pigs about? And then you'll know why we bring them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, there's a well near the pigs. You should investigate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you leave Majula.
Yeah.
Don't leave Majula without a second flask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will look around Majula, do a proper look. It's, like I said, I got to Majula, I looked around, got some stuff, head back and forth, and that's as far as I've gotten. So I will do it. I will look for the pigs.
I have every confidence.
Have you been backstabbing much?
Only sometimes. I mean, not like deliberately, but kind of opportunistically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the mace backstab is it's brutal.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
brutal and satisfying because it's kind of like you get behind them and you knock them to the ground, and then there's just this massive two-handed like cave in, and it's chilling. Like every time it happens, I'm simultaneously like and like I'm not haven't resolved those feelings just yet.
I will say the dagger that I'm using, I mean, yeah, whatever, it's just a little dagger, but it's just so gruesome. You just get it in, just run them through, and it's just like that squish, and they're like, and just everything.
You jam it in. then you kind of stop, and then you force it in a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's just so visceral.
One of those who would seek to invade my rat burrow got behind me and put me up on a spear.
Yeah.
That then like sunk through me, and my body's like,
Holy shit.
but it wasn't enough, and I had my vengeance,
Nice.
and my rats ate well.
That's pretty awesome.
I really enjoy the animations in basically every regard so far.
Yeah,
They've
really
outdone
nice.
themselves. Pursuer fight. I know you haven't done it. You're not there yet. I will say.
You're talking to yourself,
I
right?
know. Actually, purely about boss fights in a general regard. Have you been summoning people for those?
No,
No?
generally not. I tried a little bit to do with the Dragon Slayer part, because I got there with my swordsman before I went anywhere else, and my swordsman was inept, and I had to run past all the enemies.
Oh,
And
jeez.
so the arena was much smaller, because when you go through the enemies, you find switches that like make the space bigger, fill in the holes.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I don't think I've had any phantoms for the boss fights so far. I tried summoning some when I was fighting the rat den stuff, because you have to fight a lot of things at once, but it was disallowed there. I couldn't. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, been doing it on my own, and that's the way I played through the first Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And it's been alright. I don't know.
I will say that there's a couple fights that seem. I mean, there were fights in the first Dark Souls that kind of just seemed geared for, two people.
Oh sure,
And there is definitely, that's true.
Ornstein and Smau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for instance,
You
being
need like
the primary.
4 people. Just get everyone you possibly can. Get everyone and Solaire, and let's go. And
That
then
said,
you'll probably lose.
I did solo them too.
I did my first time, not my second time.
I did not solo them. I had at least 2 people backing up, and
Yeah.
it was probably my
you kill
10th
first?
attempt.
Whichever one you kill first to get Smau's armor.
Okay,
so I
so
guess I killed
Ornstein,
Ornstein.
yeah.
I think it was Ornstein, yeah, because it got Smau's armor too.
Okay, yeah.
'Cause, man, I love that armor. I really wish I could make that armor.
Just the kind of diabolic Buddha.
Yeah. Well, I saw an artist rendition of what this fellow would look like without the armor, and it's just like a really, really thick, stocky guy who's like super built with
Yep.
this just heavy, like excessive
barrel
armor.
chest.
And it was really cool. I wish I could wear that armor and have that body, and then I would be Smile.
I like it.
Tiny little head
Cosplay,
up top.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Yeah, because Lost Bastille has a boss fight where it seems very difficult to try and fight that without somebody else to draw some attention away from you.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like when you have another phantom in your world, then the enemies have 2 things to focus on.
And legitimately, I like to at least be human to look around for NPC summoning signs, because I really enjoy kind of going through the NPC quests, which is something that's usually tied to summoning to boss fights, at least for some of them.
yeah.
I mean, Solaire was definitely, and I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts about summoning help?
Do it.
Do it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun
It's
to run
there.
around with people.
Go and do it.
Super fun.
And
like,
actually, I like getting the guys in my world just to go and clear out a level. I mean, it's a fun, rewarding experience.
I had a lot of fun in the first Dark Souls after I'd beaten it, starting a new character and being a Sunbro.
Oh yeah, totally.
Super fun. It was like, I don't want to beat this boss because then I can't Sunbro this boss anymore.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I loved having some bros with me. Speaking of which, in leaving the first area and coming to whatever that place is called. Majula. There was a whole bunch of Praise the Sun signs. Is there a Sun Covenant?
I don't think so. The Lightning Spear Miracle, which was a Sunbro thing, I bought in a shop, and it's in its description, it says something about how, like, the forgotten god of this and whatever, and who knows, some arcane covenant. So I don't know.
I mean,
Then this world is somewhere way in the future of the events of the first game.
I almost think it's before, though.
well, Dark Souls is all timey-wimey.
Yeah, I don't
is
know,
true.
because the end of Dark Souls is the end of the age, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the end of the age of
Fire. The age of fire.
And possibly the start of the... Well, sorry, depends on how you do it.
yeah. For me, it was
Either
very
way,
dark.
it's bleak. You either like keep the Age of Fire limping along into its
Yeah.
death, or you kill it.
Yeah. And throw humanity into, like, you start the rise of the age of humanity by throwing it into utter darkness.
Yeah.
Which I totally did by accident.
Whoopsie.
Yep. It's like, there's stuff on the ground. I'm going to go get it. Why are the doors closed? Why is everything getting dark? Oh my god!
Oh dear, and that's it. Yeah, so I don't know about the time. Like, there's a lot of continuity between Dark Souls 1 and 2. And interesting that they made it a sequel rather than, calling it something else. Dog Souls.
I do feel like it's I feel like it's like it. I've seen references to things that could be considered to have occurred in Dark Souls, like allusions to previous gods, or I mean, the Pursuer, for instance, has weird Velka ish overtones.
And you've already insinuated about the old Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
Winky face.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Yeah, and you will have fun because you will recognize it immediately.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I'm
can't
pretty
wait.
stoked. It's Dark Souls is more and more rewarding the deeper you get into it, and it has been for all of the games, because nothing is what I want to say randomly placed.
No,
it's like that corpse is there because this is the experience of that person, that traveler. This boss acts like this because this is their story.
Yeah.
And, so it keeps giving the more you invest into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure by the time I hit the end of the game, I'll be kind of tired out and, want to take a little break. But right now, I just want to start every character and just like, okay, now I'm going to be this guy and I'm going to have a big club and I'm going to have 2 clubs and I'm going to have 2 shields.
I've seen
at the same time.
I've one of the people I summoned for a boss fight once was literally just dual wielding shields and just tanking.
That's kind of sweet, especially as just a purely co-op thing. It's like, I will get in there, you do the damage.
Yeah.
Which one do you raise? I don't know. Tank, tank, tank. Oh, durability's down. Tank, 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 tank. Repair powder. Tank. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to play that.
Yeah, no. Play everything, man.
Play
do
everything. Yeah, again, the ability to respec is nice.
Yeah.
Again, not free, but...
not unlimited.
No, but that does let you not have to play through however many hours, dozens of hours, to try out another thing.
Speaking of replaying, I guess one last thing we could touch upon is the new mechanic where enemies eventually stop spawning or respawning.
Yeah.
Have you...
It's different.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, if you kill an enemy somewhere around 10 times, they stop respawning.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If the enemy kills you, if you die in an area a sufficient number of times, I also believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't tested that thoroughly because the likelihood of you not killing some amount of enemies before you die is not incredibly high, but high.
Initially, I thought, oh, that's horrible because the game is just like rising its easiness to meet me, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't come up that often. And actually, the only places it has is when there's just a series of like maintenance enemies that you just have to plow through every time, and there's no question of you killing them. And so you do it, and then you get to the part where you die.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't mind having that removed.
Yeah.
Because...
boss fight runs especially.
Yeah. Because so much of kind of the negative impressions of Dark Souls people have is never making progress. Yeah. Right? And it's like, oh, got killed again. Oh, great, lost my souls.
Now I got to grind through this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of an allowance. I mean, they made the fast travel between fires, so you're not spending as much time running.
Yeah.
And this, in effect, so far for me, has been you're not spending as much time fighting pointless enemies.
Yeah.
Which, I think they're refining the model.
And strangely enough, it also disallows you to farm either for items or souls. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
That being said, you can actually farm humans, or at least engage in such a stupidly fast amount of PvP. You can get like 10,000 souls in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
I'm not sure. I'm sure that won't last.
Well, yeah, of course for now, but that's a cool thing that's more of a mechanic.
It's a viable strat.
And the fact that you can actually engage in multiple different forms of online multiplayer / co-op.
Depending on which covenant you are.
And it isn't fucking broken.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I get the impression that you can join multiple covenants simultaneously.
I don't know if you can be in No, I had to abandon one.
Okay, because talking to the cat in town, you can ask her about covenants, and she'll list all of the covenants that you're in with a level next to them.
I wonder
And right now it's a big blank page with one covenant on it, right? So I don't know if some of them jive and some of them.
I want. Maybe you don't actually lose your level like you did or you didn't lose your level, but in Dark Souls you lost like half your progress in whatever covenant whenever you abandon it.
Yeah, that would be kind of sweet.
Maybe you don't lose your progress anymore. And
I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice, because there's a lot of cool covenants that I really want to play with.
Yeah, like, it'll take me forever to, like, summon up the will to leave this rat den, because I just want to stay in there and murder defilers. But,
I'll test, in all likelihood, I'm probably going to hit rank 3, which I assume is the highest rank in covenants.
Wow, you've been busy.
It seems to be based purely on player kills, and getting a lot of those.
Yeah.
I'm already rank 2, so.
So, are the numbers the same as they were in Dark Souls? I hit rank 1 at 10.
Mine was 10 and 30.
Okay, that seems familiar
I'm guessing
that sounds
the
right.
last one's probably going to be about 100.
Okay.
Well, it is probably also based, because mine's based on player kills. Others are probably going to be based on handing of tokens or medallions or whatever. So,
yeah, you're right.
It could vary from coven to coven.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way,
Yeah.
our time's up. So
Yeah, there's much more to explore, and surely
We're all going to
not at the end of discussing this.
that's for sure.
Like, legitimately, this is going to be me talking about Dark Souls every time we do this for the next.
Yeah, my parting word
okay.
is it's hard but rewarding.
Yeah.
It's,
Just like Dark Souls. The first one.
Yeah, it will give back what you put into it, and I am just loving the process of discovery. Having a new Dark Souls to play,
Hell yes.
and it's just a huge world of secrets to be untangled. I don't know if you guys saw any of the like lore breakdown YouTube videos from the first Dark Souls. Epic Name Bro, and there's another name starting with V.
I know what you're talking-
Vati.
Yeah, Vati.
Yeah. Both of them go super in depth to like what we can infer from this really sparse feeding of information, and hours and hours of analysis on these games. It's
Actually,
really thrilling.
With that, actually, I can actually leave a really good recommendation for a podcast. It's called Bonfire Site Chat.
Okay.
Oh, I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Basically, previously they played through not every, but most of the FromSoft games. So they played through Demon Souls, they played through Dark Souls, and they played through King's Field.
I played a little bit of King's Field.
Yeah, and basically what they ended up doing is breaking it down from a lore perspective. So they kind of, like they go through the Undead Burg, and then they kind of discuss the themes of the area, the notable enemies, the lore, perhaps the narrative or lore reasons for why this area is how it is, or why the people in here are in here, that kind of thing. And it's really interesting. I've listened to the entire Dark Souls one. I haven't played Demon Souls yet personally, so I haven't listened to that one. But they've actually just started up, Dark Souls 2. And I'm listening to that as I go through, as I complete an area, I will go back and listen to their talk on that area.
Cool.
And anyway, that's Bonfire Site Chat. You can find it, just Google it.
Yep.
You're smart.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, that's
That's all I got.
That's episode 20.
Yeah.
That's the day's wrap.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
pleasure.
It was wonderful to have you again.
Yeah, no, I'm always happy to talk about games, specifically Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I will talk about that without end for the next couple months.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Bye.